Let's go build a wall there too. Okay, so what are the openings going to be on Circuit Breaker and TVT? It's probably just going to be pretty quick to mech. I think that we've seen a lot of the entertainment TVTs and the past couple years where it's been a lot of vulture on vulture play. That's really where we've seen some fun. Last versus Sack and the I guess it was the Sonic Starleague 10 finals against each other was a lot of fun. Sack overtaking Last, where I guess he was kind of the underdog, even though I thought Sack was dominating for many years before Last actually came onto the scene. But Last was this fresh new blood at that time, and everybody was just overwhelmed with how good he was. Last now is actually called AlphaGo. He's taking a lot of good wins. He's kind of, up there competing with Flash for who is the best Terran player, and mine's kind of fallen down. He's either third or fourth, really, in terms of best Terran. You've got to think that maybe Sharp, with his results, would get higher. I know that we need a power rank. Team Liquid, we actually put together a power rank over the summer, and then we just never posted it because we didn't get it out in time. I mean, where do these Terran players really sit? And when you think about Flash, Last, Mind, and Sharp, okay, those are 4 really good Terran players that I would all put possibly in the top 10 players. That's already 4 of 10 right there. Who else is going to be filling out those top positions? I would say that Bisu, Shuttle, aka Eyewater, also have to be on that, and Zero would definitely have to be on that. And do we put Effort in the top 10? I guess Effort has to be in the top 10 because he is the second best Zerg player. Hero, as good as he is in terms of, his Zerg competition, he might be out of the top 10 at this point, just because he really hasn't posted good games or results in tournaments and over a year. So I think that maybe he's getting the bump off the top 10, in my opinion. This is really shocking to me, considering I thought maybe he was still a top 1 or 2 Zerg for a long time. BisuDagger always gives off the feeling that he's off his rocker and totally casting these Brewer games from his imagination. To be fair, oh yes, that's true. I am off my rocker. Lamada, let's not pat it. You've had conversations with me. I'm crazy, aren't I? No, I just like to have a lot of fun in the cast. It's my time to ramble on and with a lot of, I try and, talk to you guys as if you're like friends sitting with me on the couch watching these games, except for I don't give any of you guys an opportunity to talk, even though you're sitting next to me. Does that make sense? All right, so this Terran game, we're still seeing, just kind of the opening up here with a lot of factories coming out from Hiya so far. So Hiya, let's start talking about him a little bit more. And God, I'm starting to heat up, aren't I? Considering it's like 30 degrees outside, it's kind of warm in here. Hiya actually had really good results on the GOM TV Classic Season 4. And I'm just going to randomly plug this in. Do you guys know who the official caster was for GOM TV Season 4? It wasn't Tastosis. It was me, BisuDagger. Yes! More official casts, actually officially sponsored by GOM TV. I was able to put those together. And Hiya came out like a banshee from hell and just showed some really surprising games. I believe that was back when he showed a great upset against Bisu in a best of 3, where in the first game Bisu dominated, and then Hiya came back and won 2 games in a row. And the whole time I was talking trash against Hiya. And so I don't do that anymore. Hiya is an awesome player coming from Hwaseong Oz. And he randomly gets just great results. He's kind of like Baby, or TY, which, however you want to call him from StarCraft 1. That was both his names. Where it just randomly dominant against players that you would expect to be better than him. And so the Fishy King still has Fishy King power. And maybe he's going to be able to eliminate Last in the Strill Starleague. That would be quite something else, wouldn't it? Between all the factories that have built up, the starport coming up too, it seems like off these 2 bases that Hiya's in a pretty good position here. And what is Last going to be throwing at his opponent in this manner? We can see just the scouting out barracks here, some vultures trying to control the field. And while map control is kind of a nice thing with the vultures at this point, it's just not like a big deal, especially since Last really hasn't pushed past the the halfway point on the minimap, you can see he's not sieging up, you know, across the map outside the natural, trying to prevent a third base. So right now, both these players are just kind of still sitting passive, and we're going to see some blood maybe get drawn here with this dropship play. So this dropship coming down, I imagine maybe just Vulture's going to try and pick off these SCVs as best they can. Will Last see this as a weakness if he can defend right now and go for a counter attack. This is a great play. 4 Vultures coming out, picking off as many SCVs as he can before he does. Is he going to lift them up? No, he's just going to go completely after these workers here. Look at that. Yeah, he's actually ferrying the Vultures over to this main base. Now the Vulture's going to have to come in for a defense from Last. And I think that Hiya has just done quite a bit of damage here with this dropship. You know, lately we've been seeing that with the faster starport, it was just going to lead over to Wraith play, and that Wraiths become prevalent earlier in the game. Now, Last sees his slight opening here. He's got a lot of units that are across the map. He's trying to just and make up this quick contain outside of the natural base bridges here. But I still don't think that it's going to be a lot. It's just way too early in this game. There's not a lot of tanks. And did you see the amount of factories that Hiya has? He's well prepared for this. And I think that Last will be shortly pushed back as Hiya tries to create more room for him to expand. I am loving this. Off this starport, he's been able to make how many dropships at this point? And this is a complete mobile army. This is just bringing me back to really, you know, 2010, 2009 level TVT, where it was all about that fast dropship play, lift your units up, teleport them across the map, and every facet of the map was just always getting dropped by either player here. Can Last deal with this? It seems that Hiya is just really bringing his A game, harassing this natural like crazy here. The tank's taking out a ton of SCVs, not a lot home to defend. And again, will Last try and push forward with what he has out on the map? And is he taking enough lead by killing off as many SCVs as he has? It looks like it's still a decent amount of SCVs have been brought over to the natural. Behind this, Hiya still hasn't taken a third base, so he's not really taking, you know, like a command center lead advantage here too. He's just sitting off these 2 bases doing this harassment. And that is a lot of supply depots inside of the main base. When you watch TVT, it always is fun to see how all the buildings are arranged by the Terran players. So the dropship's still alive. That turret, it did some damage, but not enough because the dropships were able to land pretty quickly. Between the 3 of them, they just kind of suckered up most of the damage here and then returned. So, you know, having mobile army is so important in TVT because you can drop on top of your opponent and kill off their units very quickly. Siege tanks do not do well against dropped tanks. They just don't. They either do friendly fire or they just can't get the DPS out the same way that you know, an A move tank really can. So we're seeing now the transition from this dropship play into Wraith play, and this is a pretty good mid-game transition for Hiya. But he still needs to take a third base. That's going to be important here. We can see that it looks like he's setting up the infrastructure for a third base based off the minimap here. And if he does get that, it will be a huge advantage over Last, who lost a ton of workers in this game already. All right, so where's that dropship located that's coming down here too? Okay, we can see it now sitting at that 6 o'clock position, slowly encroaching towards that main base. And how much damage is going to get done? These rates just accumulating are just going to be another wrench that Hiya's going to be throwing out Last. And can Last deal with this? We've seen repeatedly that Last isn't really playing a strong game here. He does have a third base though. He's expanded towards the gas base and an aggressive position towards Hiya. It's just amusing that Last is choosing to continue to be aggressive despite the fact that he's not defending well at home. Another SCV pull, a couple more workers killed off. It looks like this dropship is going to make it away. And without like any Goliaths or a Wraith just floating around at his main or natural, this dropship is always constantly getting away with all the damage. I will say though that Hiya not taking a gas base will be setting himself behind if he allows this base to get completely saturated and the mining from the Vespene Geyser to begin. really he can't fall behind in the gas count. That's where Last will start to take huge tech advantages, whether it be in tanks or vultures. But right now, oh man, where's the scan? There are 2 Goliaths still alive right here, but the scan, it was delayed. The Wraiths are actually just going to try micro and take down the Goliaths here. 1 more left to get taken out, and only a few more Marines remain. This is a great move from Hiya. So it seems like Last was ill-prepared for the Wraith play with the cloak, and a lot of these tanks are going to get taken out as Last tries to hang into this position here. I don't think that the Goliaths can get there fast enough. This is really weakening Last's position, and you would expect that Last at some point may end up having to pull backwards. It's so critical, though, that he holds onto the siege line because he took a forward aggressive base at this 9 o'clock position. A few more tanks getting taken out here at such a great cost. Another scan is going to have to be burned on those Wraiths, and it looks like the Goliaths are finally able to chase the Wraiths away. I'm really surprised, because there is an SCV that was sitting idle at that tank line, that it doesn't try and now drop a bunch of turrets and at least give a more defensive position with the static defense there. I think turrets would be really, really important out on the map with this tank line if Last wants to continue to hold the position that he's in. Still, Hiya, he's behind in terms of gas, and it just seems like he needs to take this 12 o'clock base. How long until he's able to take it? Someone throwing in that effort is the best Zerg right now. Oh, and interesting. Well, we can argue that after this game, or when we find a clear point, but I still think that Zero is showing better results than effort. I would really be interested in what you'd have to say about that. Can you not build? You can't build turrets out at this location here. Oh, I don't believe that. I think that turrets can be built with those siege tanks, but maybe there's just something that I don't know. All right, so it could be that middle terrain and some kind of a weird tile set here. Someone throwing out some random knowledge for me. This is why I don't play Terran at all, right? Okay, so the Wraiths are still causing quite a big issue, and the Goliaths do move over to fend them off one more time, and you can see that Last has such a spread of units here, but there's almost a concave being built up by Hiya, and it's really sneaky. It's this slow progressive like expansion of units across the map. Oh, okay, so it is out everything. I'm sorry, everybody. I just want to address this. So everything outside the double bridge is always unbuildable. So even when you're like a Protoss player and you're playing PvT, all of the infrastructure that's built by the Terran player is usually right before the double bridge. So I'm not always paying attention to like turrets outside of that double bridge point. Oh, I did see a turret. So we're going to argue this later. Hiya's moving out with a lot of units here, and you can see that there is a ton of damage going down with Hiya. And this is the concave I was talking about. He's really starting to encroach on top of these units, and this has just kind of been a gradual point until Hiya's just like, I'm going to turn into being really aggressive here. Vulture's running into this 9 o'clock location. It can't be defended now because there's no tanks over that left area, and so you can see that all the mining is just getting completely eliminated now, and Last once again is just not playing well against Hiya, who is really starting to dominate with his siege tank positioning. This is just almost clinical at this point. The amount of factories that he has does, exceed the number of factories that Last has inside of his main base also, and there are no SCVs left at that 9 o'clock base. Hiya's taken the 12 o'clock also, and so once he has that gas up and running, imagine how many more tanks. If he wants to switch over to Wraiths, he can do that too. And so Hiya could not be in a better position here. Oh, look at this. There has been an expansion down towards this 6 o'clock location, but I think that's a really weak spot, because Hiya eventually will move on from harassing at that location and start moving his vultures out. He still has the dropship play up his sleeve if he wants to bring a dropship over and harass the 6 o'clock position. I think that Last is just kind of spread out, spread thin, and doesn't have a good way to deal with this encroaching army. Once again, the vultures coming out the front, allowing the tanks to siege up, and a really good position here to take out the siege lines. And look at this, the vultures have broken towards the south, and this is where Hiya can actually, if he has hasn't scanned yet. Move his vultures down to the 6 o'clock location and identify if there is mining over there. The race coming up for last, I think maybe too little too late. 3 starports now, so this is huge. Can he get a big enough Wraith force to counteract what Hiya has here? I think with the number of factories, though, that just a bunch of Goliaths can come out and deal with this air aggression that last has. All these SCVs have been taken out. The vultures did their work here, and this is just another decimating blow to the economy of last. Hiya's on 4 bases now. He hasn't been harassed at all. He's got a much superior worker count despite the fact that we can't see the worker numbers here. And this is getting close to the death of last if he can't win out with these Wraiths. So the race along with the help of Valkyrie, but the Valkyrie is kind of a wasted gas investment because to me, I feel like the Wraith production has already stopped for Hiya. He's switched back to Goliaths now and is fully focusing on just complete factory tech instead of air tech. So, Last has completely misread this. He's not able to carve his way back in, and he's going to lose this next line of siege tanks here as Hiya's superior forces move across the map. He is the superior commander on Circuit Breaker. All right. And we can see that that these Wraiths really can't push in. They're rendered useless. Not only is the Valkyrie useless, but the Wraiths are useless too. And there's really not a good way for him to engage on top of that tank line. And last, I'm sure would love to be able to at least get some harassment in here. Look at this. So that might be like the first or second SCV that had been killed in this entire game for last. Who, well, I think he maybe killed a few right in the early game. But you get what I'm saying here. The harassment has just been completely in Hiya's favor. And it's paid off so well. Last, though, because he didn't lose the command center at the 9 o'clock, he's resumed mining over there. He actually has that extra gas, too, so he's on 4 gases versus the 3 of Hiya. Can Last really turn this around? And you start to kind of think maybe there's this possibility because he's starting to take the map again. He's survived the initial push from Hiya, and because of the way that TVT can work, it's just anybody's game always. All right, though. If Hiya can take this 4th base, which is going to allow him that extra gas and not have any problem with these vultures or wraiths that are coming in here, then he can win this. It's going to be still heavily in his favor. Look at the wraith count, though. Off 3 starports, where are all the Goliaths for Hiya? I'd love to see if the observer is looking down and around to just keep count of what the unit composition is for him. Now look at this. So he's just reading my mind, isn't he? Way to go, Thrill. I do appreciate your obedience to what I say. That is a decent amount of Goliaths actually to come out here. Goliaths are just going to rail everything apart, especially with the +2 upgrades. Those Hellfire missiles are going to do quite the amount of damage here as they rain upon the air of last. Once this 9 o'clock gets eliminated, what's left? Instead of going for the natural or the main base, this army can just start to jut its way down to the 6 o'clock location, where if last loses the 6 o'clock, then he is just going to be completely out. All right. So I can't believe that last is being bold enough to take another base. It seems that he doesn't have much to defend the right side location, but because he knows that Hiya is worried about just expanding here at the same time and taking additional bases that they made a natural at the top right, hopefully that's enough of a focus. Oh, here we go. GG. This is a fantasy level GG right here. I really think that lost this game, 5 minutes ago. Oh, but he tried to run it long. That's the nature of TVT. And that's going to be game number 1. Can you believe it? This is what I was saying. Hiya can pull his skill out of the woodworks, and every once in a while he's just like, I'm going to win this tournament. And it's possible here he's going to be 1 map away from being able to take the victory. And let's go ahead and look at that, Hiya. The Fishy King. Always stuck with his mouth open. He's like one of those northern mouth breeders that we have here in America. All right, let me... I got nothing against you mouth breeders. I know that some people do. I think it's just a hilarious term, so I'd love to drop it. All right. Game number 2 is on the way of series number 3. Last versus Hiya. It is another TVT. And hopefully the last matchup is going to be a little bit more exciting. It's going to be Hoja versus Mind. So I think we're all excited to see Hoja play. And really, those two were teammates for just a short period of time, at least, when Mind went on to KT. So there's that, a little bit of knowledge. And let's go ahead and call out these positions here as soon as Thrill does figure it out. I don't know. Are you any of you guys big fans of TVT? Sitting in the chat here. I can love TVT or I can hate TVT. It really depends on my mood. And a lot of the times I hate TVT is like because I'm exhausted from a long day's worth of casting. And I'm just like, man, this is going to be grueling. And that I have to cast, these epic 35-minute games. And there's a lot of lulls in between it. So, like, while it is fun for the analytical person to kind of watch the chess match between two Terran players, there are certain times as a caster where it gets tough. I'm not that much against TVT if I have a co-caster, because then I can just start saying random stuff that kind of freaks my co-caster out, like get real dark or just grody. And who uses that word, by the way? And just say a bunch of random stuff, get people to laugh. But when it's just me, sometimes I lose my inspiration. Get me in with a group of people and my ADD will go crazy and I'll just say the most hilarious stuff possible. God, I'm pretty sure what we have created at my work environment between me and all my coworkers is what I call mutual assured destruction. You guys know, like, MAD is applied to nuclear warfare. Well, in this case, we all say such terrible stuff on our work chat and the chat logs that are saved that anybody from IT could eventually view if they wanted to, that we would all simultaneously get fired. But then they wouldn't be able to finish the project on time and not make millions of dollars off of the pennies that they pay us. Actually, I get paid well. I don't want to say pennies. But anyway, so it's okay. We can literally say anything, and it's just free, right? And this is Trump America. You can't be offensive anymore in Trump America, right? We can grab anything. We can say anything. It is wonderful. The tides have changed. I feel so liberated now, I could truly be the horrible person I wanted to. All right. Someone said TV sleep. That's what he's a fan of. Oh, wonderful. If you're wondering why I shift back and forth every once in a while, I'm wearing like these athletic shorts that somehow ride up my leg, and it gets really uncomfortable when like my thigh touches this wood, especially since I'm starting to work up a good sweat. Look at that little icon in the middle there. That was cheeky. I wish I had something cute to dance on my stream when I don't have anything interesting to say. NSA is always listening. Obama said that he cannot pardon Snowden. Are you guys for or against the pardoning of Snowden? I cannot give my opinion because, of course, they're listening. But it'll be really interesting when Trump is on the hot seat for the same thing that Obama was asked for. I mean, they made a freaking movie about him. It's really funny when you're a coder too and you kind of watch these movies and he's like, and they're showing the trailer. I haven't seen the movie yet. And in the trailer, they're like, oh, I'm going to put a USB in this Rubik's Cube and then throw it to a security guard. And he's not going to think about this being a threat because it's a Rubik's Cube. Cool. But really the only thing that I actually had a problem with that movie based on the trailer is that they turned it into a love story. And it's sort of. And so I thought, man, this guy did, something way crazier than, like, leave his wife and go to China and Russia. There's a little bit more to it than that. But I guess they wanted that emotional connection, Okay, so let's focus here. We have, like, a hidden Marine under this barracks. You guys see this? Maybe this like Marine is really just like a super albino under there, and he knows that even if he's wearing this Marine suit, that any shade of sunlight would really start to bake him, and he doesn't want to go home after a long day of fighting with his Gauss rifle and suddenly be like, hey medics, look at me, and they're like, oh shit, you are freckly as hell. And you know it, if you're white and pasty, you get freckly from a day of sun. So, especially if you're gingery. Not that I have anything against gingers. Unless you're Carrot Top. No, I'm really angry they didn't make the entire cast female. That would be interesting if they portrayed Snowden as a female, or like a guy that played like a trans version of Snowden. Because I know what's his name, Bradley, like went transgender and the jail, the guy from WikiLeaks, and so I guess they could have done that with Snowden too. Yeah. So look at this. The barracks trying to produce a few Marines outside the base here. And of course, if I haven't shouted out the positions yet, which I haven't, we actually have Hiya at the 7 o'clock position. No one complained here, by the way. But this is critical that we update these positions here so people aren't confused if you haven't figured it out. But they have colors too, so that helps. Hiya at the 7 o'clock position here, and we'll have the last at the 1 o'clock position. This is getting interesting, guys. Look at all the Marines gathering up outside this base. Maybe we're just going to see some bio on bio, right? Cross fingers here. You know, if this were Piano playing TVT, we'd see a lot of bio. That guy, he plays bio in every matchup. Okay, so look at this, like, bio mech push that's coming in here. A bunker already out at the front. Siege tanks in the back. And does anybody think that... like this is going to hold up, that Hiya is actually going to be able to break through with this? I think this is just a little too weak. You know, the distance is far, the defense is good, and I think that Lost is in just a solid enough position to defend. And even though he's lost that bunker at the front, it's minimal in comparison. He's got the tanks in the right spot. Oh my God, Lost is going for it here. Balls to the wall now. The SCV is coming out. And look at this, a Wraith follow-up from behind. Hiya, you dirty dog, Hugh. Coming out with the race. And, GG. Oh, boy. Oh, we're going to an ace match, aren't we? As soon as I got the position set, too. Damn it. All right. So let's close this window out. Let's get game number 3 ready to go. Score is 1-1 here. And that was my kind of TVT. Alright. Feel like I did some of you Terran versus Terran fans a disservice. May have to pay attention more in this next one. Stop talking about gingers and transgender Julian Assange characters. Alright, guys. Here we go. The rambling is over, and thanks to the encouragement by Antisocial Monkey, I'm actually out of water here. So I should get more, but we'll wait till it's after this cast, and we'll keep it going. Thrill, the man Thrill, the host of this tournament, is doing a badass job here. I'd say I'm very impressed by the quality that we're seeing from the producer here. All right, and of course, Africa Starleague coming out December 4th. If you guys don't know where, I will be hidden in the bowels of the Africa website itself. Yeah, I cast on the Africa channel, which can't be linked to Team Liquid, and so no one knows that I'm casting. But Tasteless and Artosis actually get to cast on the Twitch stream. And I understand why I cast on the Africa channel, because I'm trying to expose people to it. So maybe they get more people either viewing or streaming through their stuff. Which, it's not a bad stream. I actually like casting through Africa TV. I think they do really well. The problem is we can't link it on Team Liquid, so I usually just have, you know, my 5 random people that enjoy my cast there. Thank you, Piano, who is like one of the baller viewers of my channel. But anybody else that I'm missing, thank you too. You can find me during those casts if you get tired of the StarCraft 2 chat. All right. So we are seeing here at the 1 o'clock position, changing it on me one more time here. So let's go ahead and get that fixed up. 1 o'clock position, it will be Hiya, who went for a cheesy game number 2 on match point. So 2 of 3 games we've seen on match point have been cheesy. Players refusing to keep it normal here. And even the one normal game was pretty weird. It was a lot of Zerglings just busting through holes that won that game. So would we call that cheesy too? Maybe. Okay, at the 7 o'clock position though, we will have the Terran player last. The 17 position does not exist. So there's me just dropping the ball there. I need a minion. I need to be rich enough that I can pay someone to handle all the video and the graphics at the same time. Because I really hate having to do any of the stuff on my stream. I just lose my attention to the actual game when I'm having to go over and check if anything's right. What are people saying here? It's because Nazgul did not sell out. No, it's not because of that. And it's not because you can't sync a stream with your account. It's because like the API hasn't been finished by Africa itself. This is literally like an Africa TV English programmer problem where they need to finish out the API so other websites that want to tap into it and have the stream connected to their website can actually do that. And we've talked to the Africa team. They've actually known for about a year now, but obviously things just can't happen overnight. So we're waiting for that, and hopefully soon, maybe this next Starleague, they will actually have it ready for Rich to program it in and have it good to go. Another big thing that we're waiting on Rich for is the new Liquibet season. So those of you who are excited to do Liquibet season 1 again and have, you know, your votes on Bisu, Jaedong, Flash, and Stork, you know, trust me, I am ready to go with a new season, ready to announce the winners of the previous one, I believe, which is the Red Viper. Is going to be getting the victory token for that season. There may be one other player. I think it's actually a tie right now. But Red Viper definitely deserves the win. So we're closing out the season as soon as Rich is able to get to it. And we'll have a new Liquibet ready to go for 2017. How awesome. Hope you guys are excited for that. I used to do the Fantasy Pro League back in the day too. It's really sad that we're not going to have that ever again. But I actually used to be the one who ran Fantasy Pro League. Why are you laughing at the Liquibets in 2017, Antisocial Monkey? You know, you can have your flash memes, but listen, Liquibets are fun. People like doing them. They had a pretty good attendance for the last season. And they're going to be pretty good. Yeah, I guess we're a little bit out. Yeah, I miss Fantasy Pro League too. And Sonic Pro League was actually fun. You know, when the Sonic teams were together, that was pretty exciting too. We have more players than ever that we could bring together for a team league. I think we're ready for it, aren't we? We only need 3 players in best of 5, so 4 players. Only 3 if you have a really good team, right? All right, so the expansion coming down for last, he is going to be taking that natural base, and you can see the minerals being mined right there. That was almost a chill level cast, right? The barracks is getting the scout out like an overlord, but slower. I wonder what the speed number difference is. I promise you one day I'm going to start memorizing the StarCraft encyclopedia so I can list every number out. I mean, it's been long enough that I feel like I should know every number in this game. So I just need to make some flashcards and start memorizing all this stuff. Of course, next week, if there is no Korean Starleague that compromises my foreign cast next week, I will be doing my in-depth version of a StarCraft PvZ. How does a Protoss player play against Zerg? Timings, wrenches thrown in, walls walled off. Plus, also, there is a mystery map reveal that I might be doing for Cardinal All In, coming up very shortly too. And that would be a lot of fun. I haven't seen this map, neither have you guys, and it would be literally a mystery map reveal. And so I'd love to do that for him, because anything I can contribute to the foreign community will be awesome. Fight Club starts in 2017 also, while we're watching this TVT start to build up. Fight Club is something that I'm self-sponsoring. It will be a foreign tournament where 2 players every week will be able to fight best of 7s. And the prize pool will come out of my pocket and any donations that I can get from people once the Fight Club starts. But I've got $250 in my pocket ready to go. And in fact, oh, this is great. So I'm going to be making money per cast from the Africa Star League. All of that money will be going directly in the Fight Club. So, and you know, add like another couple $100 for that in 2017. We need to make next year cool as possible, because come June, I'm going to have a child. And once my baby is born, I don't know how casting's going to go. The kid's going to get used to yelling, obviously. But I just want to make every month and every week count next year and until the child is born. And then, of course, I'm going to dress him up like a little Reaver. I'm going to get my wife to make a little Reaver, plush Reaver outfit for my kid to wear. Oh, and when it's crawling, imagine a little baby dressed like a Reaver and it's crawling around. Yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am. Boy or girl, it doesn't matter. It's going to be fun. All right. I'm still thinking about the Reaver image. Jesus. Those are adorable units, aren't they? Damn those Protoss. I'm not coming up next year. I'm not breastfeeding, especially not on camera. You know, I've got some sensitive nipples, and they do not produce. They do not produce milk. Come on, let's be real. Yeah, next year is gonna be awesome, and you know, hopefully we can finally get those KCM Legend matches that I just rumor about for months on end, back going too. Okay. So, there's a lot of vultures coming out here. What do you guys think about these wars here? Hiya's starting to move his units down, reaching his way towards the natural base of Last here. And really, I would be surprised if Last lost this, because he has been the better player for quite some time here. And his TVT record on Fish is really good too. It's not like he easily loses these games. But Hiya wins the obscure tournaments. And so maybe the Fishy King here can get another medal under his belt. It's been at least 2 years. I think maybe it was 2014, the GomTV Classic, when he did win there. So we're thinking almost 3 years now since Hiya's been able to take a win. You know, the win, the gold medal. Oh, but here we can see that Last has a good set of factories here. He's going into Starport Tech, gonna get those Wraiths out. And Wraith play actually was something that Last had excelled at, not just during that SAC finals, but even afterward. He brings up a lot of really good, safe Wraith plays that combat his opponent really well. So if you want to find a player who's been doing it for many years now, try and look up a lot of Last replays here. This is a ton of vultures, and the cool thing about vulture bikes is that they just hover over mines. So I think it's just almost comical that you'll see these huge vulture versus vulture wars between two players, and they'll lay down mines, and it'll look like there's just a map completely filled in, opaque, with color from both the units just filling up the mini-map. But no, it's spider mines that are completely useless, that can't kill off any vultures, unless you have like a miracle tank run in to drag into the army. Oh, but this is a ton of vultures coming in here. Can any of the Spider-Mans get dropped down? Look at the one on the left side here. Oh, it gets taken out. Killed off before it can actually drag into the tanks. It didn't even sink in. So that was just kind of a little bit of a kamikaze style build here with those vultures trying to get whatever damage off Hiya could. But now look at this. Last, he survives with his tanks. He can still get the vision of his opponent with that barracks. And with the Wraith out, the Wraith can maybe poke in to kill off the tank here. But look at you know, there's Goliath on the right side for Hiya, so he's got good anti-air from the ground. And is he going to be able to take out that Wraith? It's so close. The Wraith wins out because the defense of those tanks behind it would kill off the Goliath if it did try to move in. Clearly, the Goliath range needs to be finished up, though, because I believe that Goliath range, when completed, would be able to easily kill off that Wraith from that distance. It's quite an improvement. And, you know, it's like Dragoons getting the range upgrade for Protoss. It's a really, really nice to have thing here for the Goliath anti-air. Oh, look at that. The tanks get withered down. Another one does get moved in. And I think that... oh, look at that. Look at that. Is he going to get it? The Wraith plus the tank the SCVs can't repair in time. That was a nice little move there. The more northern tank for Last being able to pick off Hiya's one tank there. And it seems that Last not only has taken the natural base, he has a pretty solid third. It looks like a late third coming in for Hiya. And I'd say everything is going to in the favor of Last right now, who looks to be taking this ace match TVT. Yeah, that's right. The last set for the night is going to be a Hoja versus mine. I'm going to be getting through all of these today because I want to be able to wake up, and I guess it's 7 hours from now, 7.5 hours, I think, we will be able to watch the semifinals matchup, which is going to, of course, be Rain versus Zero, and then the winner of this series versus the winner of Hoja versus Mind. So, possible TVT. I really don't see Hoja winning that matchup. We'll get into that jargon later. But if Mind loses against Hoja, it would be incredible. Not only with the Terran dominance against Zerg lately, but because Mind used to be really, really good against Zerg players up until, I would say, this 2016 season, where it's been kind of a weird weakness instead of a strength for him. So Last is in a great position to put pressure on the third, and this is the problem here because Last has had not only oh, look at that, GG already. He's had a mining third base for a long time and a mining gas base for a long time. And that's going to be easy victory for him. Hiya is eliminated. Last takes the victory here. And we are going to be going into the last series in just a minute. I'm going to mute up. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Here comes the random Wild Tiger Woman song. And please, guys, hang out if you want to watch more StarCraft.